Pick this Bluetooth thing out because I don't know. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. This is my first time trying StreamYard, so let me see here. Let me see. All right, let's wait till some more people get in here. Let's see, layout. Let me see. How you doing, Carmen? Carmen, let me know if you can hear me. Cause I'm trying StreamYard, so I don't know. How you doing, Moni? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying StreamYard, so how everybody doing today on this? What's up? What's up? Let me know if y'all want to come on and speak. Let me know if y'all want to come on. Let's see here. Cause I know a lot of people got mixed feelings. CMR versus CJ so cool, and have their own perspective on the matter. So yeah, there's the link down. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Asia, you on? Let me see.
Hello, everybody. Hey, before.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. I just hear a lot of things going on. People think you're kind of, not rooting for Jalea, saying that, you don't really believe that she did it. Do you honestly feel that way, or what is your perspective on this?
My perspective is, like I said before, I'm not biased, and I come with facts, and I try my best to use evidence to support those facts and use deductive reasoning. So when it comes down to it, how I look at it is I don't ever want to discredit Jalea and how she feels of what she potentially went through. That's not something I would ever I have daughters myself, so I would never ever want my child to feel neglected. But at the same time, we have to look at the state of how this is moving forward and what's being presented, because we all can just go off of our emotions and our feelings. But one thing I would do as a parent, like I always said, at the end of the day, number one, I'm gonna confront you. That's number one. I'm gonna confront you, and you're gonna have to see me. Number two, I'm a file a police report. If they find probable cause, they're gonna move forward. And at the end of the day, that's why I say I'm not on no one side. I don't know why people think I'm on CJ's side, or people think I'm just on Jalea's side. That's not the case. I'm just on the side of truth. And that's the side that I'm on. I don't know these people personally. I'm just like everybody else. I'm using my vantage point and the things that have been presented to me, and we just gonna use that as a way to see how everything turns out. Like I said before, if he gonna go, to prison or whatever the case may be, it's gonna be that's gonna, be his fate. Because at the end of the day, you can't avoid things that's done in the dark will come into the light. But if it's not that case, then it's not gonna be. So we just gotta see how things carry out. That's all I'm saying. On that particular case. But now with CMR, the reason why I said this in other videos of mine was because when you look at how he literally got approached by detectives, and then not even within 48 hours, basically, he was already read his Miranda rights. He was already being, pushed in that direction to be questioned, and it escalated to that point. The reason why I brought up that in my last video about the statute of limitations is because when you have statute of limitations, it keeps cases irrelevant. It keeps cases from being, thrown under the rug. And it makes it easier for victims to go ahead and speak their truth. And they're never going to be treated as if it's in the past, or it's something that can never be brought back up. That's why I look at it from a whole different angle, especially when it comes to court proceedings, when you're dealing with anything that's criminal. It's a different approach to how you have to go about it. So that's why I look at it that way. But a lot of people, they base things off how they feel. But at the end of the day, like they always say, in the court of public opinion, you can be one way. But when it comes to the actual court system and how you got to proceed forth with a jury, with a trial, with lawyers, if you only get pro bono work with a public defender, it depends on what can be proven. What are the evidence? What are the things done? I ain't on no one side. I'm on truth side. And like I said before, you can't escape the most high, at the end of the day. So if you did some shit, believe me, there's nothing you can do to escape that fate. But if you didn't do it, then obviously, there's going to be measures that's going to be in your way. You're going to be obstacles, because at the end of the day, us as being minorities or black people all together, we all know how it feel to be, put in a predicament or situation or circumstance that may not be it, but we're still tried. So that's why I look at things from all angles, not just from one. That's my biggest thing. I look at things from all angles. I'm never going to just be one sided. That's my thing. So when it comes down to this guy, when people are making the comparisons, it's only going to be a comparison if the police report, like all police reports are public, especially when it comes down to criminality and lascivious acts. They're public. So any case that is lascivious, or anything that's done with a child when it comes to disorderly contact, anything that's neglect, anything of that nature, it will be brought to light in the police report, because there's no difference between where I'm at right now is Florida. So compared to Las Vegas, it's never going to be any different. They're under the same chapter, and that same chapter is everything will have to be made public. That's just the way it works. So if there is a case, if there is a report, you should be able to look it up, and you can read the details of why that person does say was questioned, why that person is being, held or detained or whatever the case may be. You will see it. And that's all I'm saying when it comes down to both sides, because it just depends on those actions, that's being taken. Let me see here. Said Tony in the he said, I'm in the bushes. What's going on with you? I'm in the bushes. Yeah, but so that's basically what the point of angle that I'm going at. I really, to be honest with you, like I tell everyone, I don't even want Jalea to even had to go through that. Why would I even want to push even be real? Because I don't want her to go through anything psychological. I don't want her to go through anything that can damage navigate this world. All different angles that you can take from that. Uh, yeah, but at the end of the day, that's how you got to look at it. It's just really about how you perceive something. And don't get me wrong, perspective matters. Perspective matters for a lot of people. One person may see something completely different than another person, but it just depends on how we can put those connect the dots. Make sure everything is aligning properly. So that's how I look at it. It's a big factor. Probable cause is major. And then when that girl in the CMR case, his stepdaughter, she went ahead and gave very intricate details, all the way down, all the way down, very intricate details to the investigators. And then as it moved forward, they were able to, go question him. Even though he denied it, they still arrested him. Like a lot of people think too that CMR, that guy, I don't even know what the heck he really is though, just became aware of that Carter family. I'm pretty sure a lot of people just became aware of that family and don't really probably know them like that. But he was released. Still, he ain't even. That's why people got to understand the way court work. Just because even when you're arrested, you're still not guilty, even if you're arrested. So that's one of the main. So at the end of the day, that's all I'm saying. All your emotions, your feelings out of the way. Let's see. Oh, do we have someone on? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, Jennifer, I hate. No, that's if that's that person right there, then you could take them. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see, Jen. Let me see. I don't know this person is really. But let me know if you guys want to chat. The link is in the chat. Let me know if you want to give your perspective on the matter. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Oh, that's Jennifer. Because I don't know if it was who is this? 'Cause I'm looking at this person here. There's other Jennifer that left a comment. I don't know where they coming from. With our wives got let go and leave Earth. Like, I don't know what that person is saying. There's other what's her name? Carrooters. I don't know what that person is saying. That's just odd. I don't think because it's two Jennifers. It's two different Jennifers. Is it two different Jennifers?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's not. Okay. All right, but like, let me know what you guys think. If y'all want to come on, let me know how you feel about the whole situation. With the CMR versus CJ So Cool. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Thanks, Moni. Yeah, because I don't know what they was writing. That was just a weird comment. But at the end of the day, like I said before, y'all want to come on? Let me know how you feel. Talk to me. She's a troll. Yeah, I figured she was a troll. But hey, my thing is this. I always say when people have such a, they'll say something when I drop my videos, they'll comment, and then when it comes time to actually stand on that, I would love to see somebody stand on what they're saying in terms of how they feel about situation, especially the current video I just did. When it comes down to CMR versus CJ So Cool, with the probable cause, with the police report, how the investigators went through with the proceedings, how they were using deductive reasoning, how they was able to come to an ultimate arrest, reading his Miranda rights, even though he was in court. The judge still, even the judge, if you watch the video, the judge even said that it wasn't a serious crime. And I know a lot of people gonna say, "What? What? With a child?" You know why? Because the judge is looking at it. Hey, you know what? To them, it's not a serious crime, but it's still gonna get you time. It may not get you the same amount of time as somebody else that did the R word to somebody, or somebody else that messed with a thousand or hundreds of kids. It's a little difference. That's why you got to look at everything from a court point of view, not from a personal point of view, from a court point of view. Because if you're going to bring your personal feelings into a courtroom, you're never going to be able to get across your point. That's why lawyers have to represent people. You know why lawyers represent people? Because they know a person going to get up on there and start getting emotional and saying that what they believe to be true and how they feel and all this. And then the judge is still going to say, on what grounds are you saying this? What evidence do you have? What probable cause do you believe why this occurred and how it occurred? And does it all align? That's why the lawyers have to come in and speak on people's behalf. When you don't have a lawyer representing you, you're just going to be all in your feelings. And I know a lot of people get in their feelings because this is a touchy topic. It's very touchy. And a lot of people just want to, throw down a hammer on people. And at the end of the day, we are not the lawyers, we are not the judges, we are not the investigators. Only thing I'm saying is based off what I'm seeing, if you put a report out there, the report will be similar to that CMR guy. You know why? Because you will notice how in the report it will state what probable cause was, what actually went down, a description of what happened, who they spoke to. They may blur out or, leave, things open because they don't really want to state the person's name on every last, point on the report. But they will let you know that they questioned this person about, this on this date, and then it will move forward. Exactly as well. Just like CJ. That's what I'm saying. We don't, like I said, I ain't biased over here. CJ has a lot of things about him that is sketchy too. Like I told you before, going to Christ. This man ain't never, when his house got robbed, when the other situation occurred, when he was worried about, having to pull out a blicky on when he had to pull out the blicky on royalty and the guys out there, he claimed that, that his life was threatened. He ain't go to God. He ain't go to God even after he got shot. He wasn't going to church. But it's funny that when these allegations came, he decided to go to church. That's what made me look at CJ like, hold up. That's weird as hell. Why the hell you going to God all of a sudden, with these allegations? So that's why I said it's a lot of things that are ambiguous. And there's a lot of things that were made on both sides that was arbitrary. And that's why I always say when you're looking at things, you got to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, because there can be somebody on the opposing side saying something, there can be somebody on the other side saying something, and it can just waver. That's why so many people are in an uproar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has not been. I believe he hasn't been to church. I know this man ain't been to church. Cause number one, people and to be honest with you, it's not really about church. You can tell he just don't read the Bible. You can tell he just don't, he don't really have that biblical knowledge To be able to use, remember, the physical realm came from the spiritual realm. What's wrong with a lot of people is they think the physical realm is what it is. This 3D world we live in, this tangible world we live in, came from the spiritual world. I don't know why people think that you can't tie everything about this world back to the spiritual if it came from the spiritual. You can tie every last thing about this world back to the spiritual because everything in this world came from the spiritual world. So when people are like, oh, yo, we're trying to connect dots with the Bible and spirituality and this and that, always trying to connect dots from each story. You know why? Because this world came from the spiritual world. And if something came from something, believe me, it can always go back to the source. That's just the way things are. All right, he claims royalty was not his life for those other 13. Exactly, exactly. So you can't blame somebody for not going to church. You can't blame another person for not seeking God. And to be honest with you, that's why I always said at first, royalty actually was 100, when they were together because she was teaching them about Yahweh Shai, the real name of the begotten son. The real name of the begotten son. She was teaching him that Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, that's the language that the Bible was spoken in, that was written in, was in Hebrew, strong arm concordance. So at the end of the day, when she was teaching him this, for him to go online and say that, oh, she was telling me about Yahweh Shai and that da da da, and that Jesus, because Jesus is the name that the Catholic Church that came from Jesus. If you know, you know. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna go into detail of that. If people know, you know where that name came from Jesus, Jesus to Isis to Isis, and it all traces all the way back to Latin to Hebrew. It all goes all the way back. So if you know, you know. At the end of the day, she was trying to teach him that. But like I said, when people go through traumatic situations in their life, separations, a lot of people end up going astray. The Bible tells you that when persecution and affliction arise, when people go through divorces, when people go through splits, when they've been with people for years, yes, people do go through confusions. They do go through things in their life that they can't cope with, so they will go backwards sometimes. But sometimes people gotta try their best to get over the flesh and get back to the spirit, because I know it's hard for people to get over a broken heart, and it's hard for people to get over people that they love, a family that they once had. So both people are going to display things in a relationship when they separate that are not always going to be, how can I say, cordial or peaceful or other aspects. There's going to be so many different things to go off of. That's what CJ basically playing here. Yeah, and not just her. See, that's the thing about CJ. He just ain't gonna blame royalty. He's gonna blame CJ on 32. He's gonna blame Bake 100. He's gonna blame so many other people are gonna factor into that. But that's what I always say. A lot of people think it's just, oh, I'm thinking like this. Nah, let me tell you something. You know how many videos I didn't expose and then show that CJ So Cool is unstable, double minded, lukewarm. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that right now, when it comes down to tangible evidence, that he is being investigated. We got to look at facts and evidence now. I ain't on his side at all. I ain't on nobody's side. I'm on truth side. That's why I always say I'm on the truth. Anytime there's truth, that's what I stand on. The Bible says to stand on that. I'm standing strictly on truth. Remember, the heart is deceitful among all things. Who can know it? You know why? The heart is deceitful because your emotions are involved. Anytime your emotions are involved, you're gonna feel. I feel like, or I'm just so angry. All those things are gonna play into what's your everyday life. Don't wear your heart on your sleeve. Somebody gonna always be able to catch you off guard. Remember, for we are not unaware of the devil's devices at the end of the day. So when you think about it, you have to understand that there are gonna be times in your life where you're going to be emotional, but that's why the Bible says to be temperament in all things, to be a mastery of all things, of all your emotions. So when you think about it, two YouTubers who has been arrested, who has a official statement from investigators from his stepdaughter that they literally the very same day and next day arrested him. The very same day. A lot of people are saying it's because the case is old and because Jalea is no longer in the home. That is not the case. That's why they have statute of limitations. We can even bring up Cassie. Cassie, when it came down to Diddy, that case was settled so damn fast outside of court because he already knew there was probable cause. That's why he ran so quick to hurry up and try to pay her. But man, that raised a lot of eyebrows. Then a lot of people say, "Hold up, why you pay that case so fast?" That's why all the other allegations and things came about, and that's how he ultimately ended up getting arrested because he could not handle the pressure of what happened with that Cassie situation because they had evidence. They had probable cause to believe that he was abusive, to believe that he was on this SA, to believe a lot of things. That's why I'm saying this as he has hold himself accountable until he has no one left to blame. But before, do you see he has the same uh, mannerisms CJ had with? Oh yeah, there's similarities. There's similarities there, definitely. When you look at both cases, you do see how especially with that thing written on her back when he wrote CJ so cool on her lower back. I don't even, to be honest with you, that right there was just so childish, and on top of that, it was creepy. So you had a creepy, childish action when he wrote CJ so cool on her lower back, especially the position that he decided to write it on. And let me know in the chat, is that the situation that they was talking about when CPS came to the house in 2018? Was it because of the situation with Jalea with that writing on her lower back? Let me know in the chat if that's what royalty was referring to, and that everybody was talking about in the text messages. Let me know if that was it, because I know CPS came to their house back then because of the laxative prank they did. I know that, and that's when his channel got flagged back then. Okay, so you're saying Moni was both? It was because of that and the laxative. Okay, so if it was because of writing on her lower back and the laxative, and they were saying that, and according to the text messages that was released on the tea room, but the video was removed. Which video was that? Nothing but the truth. Which video was that? Because I want to know what video that was. When the CPS came over in 2018, the exact video, because I know that they stated in the text messages it was in 2018. But shoot, wait, see, did he? I don't know what that person's even saying right there. I'm trying to see what video it was. Because I know that if it was because of CJ So Cool being written on her lower back, including the laxative prank, which I know a lot of people found that distasteful and disdainful. And they had to literally do a lot of cleanup work to make sure people understood that, oh shit, this was just a prank. There's no validity to this. It's just a prank. They had to continuously make videos because a lot of people was starting to unsubscribe from them. A lot of people was not really riding with them at that time, that they would even pull such a prank. But remember, they wanted to push the boundaries a little bit because they was one of the few people online that was willing to push the boundaries. I know the video is deleted, but I want to know what it was though. Like, even though the video was deleted, I know somebody has to know what that video contained. Like, what was the in context, what was that video about? If anybody has a synopsis or can give me some type of clue to that video. His brother spoke on another content creator calling on them reporting inappropriate things. His brother spoke on another content creator. So Jinx spoke on another content creator, and then that content creator started reporting on them. Yeah, I know Kenneth. I remember Kenneth said something about it, but I didn't know like the actual video that was removed. That's what I'm talking about. Because what in the video, what exactly happened in that video that made CPS come over? Because I know CPS was called because of the laxative. I know Jinx and Kenneth, and I think he got different siblings altogether. But I'm not talking about that. I want to know what the video was about altogether. Like, what was that video that got deleted? What was the contents of that video? See, they never disclosed what happened, and I'm not saying that something creepy didn't happen. But what I am going to say, okay, so we don't know exactly. We don't know. They said it was removed exactly. So if it was removed, only thing we have right now is that people saying that it was something inappropriate. We do have a video of CJ So Cool writing his initials on the lower back of Jalea, which is quite questionable, which is quite odd, which is quite childish. Also, before I have a video up where he kept squeezing the stuff. But let me tell you something funny too, Moni. He not only squeezed J Dub thigh, there's a lot of videos of him squeezing a lot of the kids' thighs. Too. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of things are ambiguous. Cause if you like, I got there's a video I'm gonna do that cause I was looking at the video of them when they had like a pool party, and you got CJ messing with a lot of kids in that way. CPS came because he pulled out a gun, and oh yeah, we know that was the case when that's why Kamari ended up getting took, and then Nike had to come out to Vegas and all that shit went down. I remember that. That case right there showed a little bit of his being irrational, not thinking, being hot headed. That type. But I'm talking about in terms when it comes down to Jalea. Like the reason why I was talking about CMR versus CJ So Cool. In the report with CMR, remember I brought this up. They're under the same chapter. In Florida where I'm at, in Nevada, they are under the same chapter which I put in the video. If you're under the same chapter, you abide by the same rules when it comes down to any type of child I ain't gonna say the word, and Ring and all the other stuff. You are under the same chapter. So what I'm trying to say is when you look at the police report with CMR, the investigators came out and they had probable cause and they wrote it down in the report because it's public record. If you look at Nevada, right, and you look at Florida, right, you would notice how since they're under the same chapter, all criminal records are public, all criminal records. They're not sealed. This is not civil court. Now, if you have a parenting plan, timeshare, those matters, then you can pay to have the court, seal your file so people won't have to look at the details between your case and all that crap. But when it comes down to any criminal record, they can't seal them. Look in the chapter, nothing but the truth, right? And when you look at the chapter, when it comes down to anything endangering children, anything with children, they are under the same chapter I put in the video. If you look at my latest video at the end, actually, I can pull up the chapter. Let me see if I can pull this up right quick. I don't want to go off the stream. I might end up going out the stream. Let me see. Let me pull this up right quick. Yeah, they are under chapter 432B. Chapter 432B. So if you see that under chapter 432B, and let me know how, because I looked up the Vegas when it comes down to any type of child negligence, any type of when it comes down to disorderly conduct to a child, when it comes down to a lot of different things with children. Chapter 432B, child endangerment. So when you go to chapter 432B, it's reporting of abuse by a caregiver. It can be someone else that's abusing. It can be false reporting. It can be child protective investigators. It can be under everything in chapter 432B. That's in the 165 authority agency, which provides child welfare services and advocacy. So when you look at it, I'm trying to see under what's the difference between the two. Like, what's the difference between them and them? Is basically what I'm asking. What's the difference? What's the difference in terms of between Vegas? Because they're not under a different chapter. The chapter means that you have to go according to what's in that chapter and how you proceed forth with any investigation regarding a child. That means that's how you have to go about it. And what procedure would that be? Nothing but the truth. What I'm asking, what procedure would that be? Because under 432B, there's a certain procedure that has to be abided by. So when you go through, like for instance, if you go into the chapter 432B, right, it's going to tell you protection of children and abuse and neglect, and then it's going to tell you how CPS gets involved. It's going to tell you how the investigators get involved, and it talks about the statutes of limitations, right? There are the statute of limitations in both states are similar. That makes each case relevant. That means each case is relevant. That means they will never allow victim to be like, oh, my case happened 20 years ago, so therefore it's going to take longer than somebody that has a recent case. They're not going to do that in the court of law. They're going to make sure that if your case was 20 years ago, if you got probable cause and evidence, they don't time. That's like somebody, you know what happened with that case? I forget the name of the case, but if you can get it from me, Asia, I'll forget the name of the case. There was a case when a man had these three women, he kidnapped them. And in their state, there was a statute of limitations. He had this woman, it's with Charles Ramsey, the person that saved him, Charles Ramsey. In that case, those women were literally locked in that man's basement for 15 years. Charles Ramsey got a hold of him, was able to save that one girl, and guess what? That man was charged like it was no other day. Like it wasn't even a day in the past or like it was even further behind. It didn't matter. What mattered was statute of limitations make sure people have the ability to bring forth claims and make them relevant today. So you never have to go back and say, oh, they're going to take long on my investigation. If you look at chapter 432B, that makes sure that victims have a place of refuge, have a place where they can speak on a matter. That's what I love about chapter 432B. Oh, yeah, let me tell you something too, nothing but the truth. I believe he bailed out. And remember, just because you're arrested does not mean you're guilty. Let me tell you what's funny. I got arrested about like three times before for for bullshit. It was people had a misidentification with me before I got arrested because they believed I was someone else and all this bullshit. And it's funny, you know that an arrest record is different from an actual record. Just like you have a court record that's different from an actual record, just like being arrested in court and being taken in front of a judge does not mean that you're guilty. You know what that means? That means that you can set bail and then they will have a court proceeding and a lawyer. That's what I'm saying. No, not all the time. Not all the time, nothing but true. Not all the time, because there were times I'm talking about that was a mistaken identity. Now they did, and that does happen in every state, not just in Florida. Nothing but true. I done been. I'm army. I lived in Georgia. I lived in Germany. I lived in so many places, and believe me, that just don't happen in Florida. A lot of cops. Number one, the precinct. It depends on who they hire. It depends on that cop's background. It depends on a lot of things why a cop will arrest you for no reason, and then you can press charges or you can sue that that precinct. And believe me, it will rain down fire on their ass. So that's not the case. There are a lot of things that differentiate between some things are very similar, like chapter 432B. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying what I'm saying that there are times believe that just because you're arrested, that means that you're guilty. No, you can get before a judge and everything, and they'll tell you, "Oh, you this, that, third, you get the bond and all that bullshit." Oh, can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? Sorry, I'm saying I'm breaking up. You hear me now? Okay. Now you can get before a judge, and they will literally tell you, "Oh, you're bond to for you to bond just because you bailed out. Nine times does not mean you're innocent, and also it don't mean you guilty because you have to go through a court proceeding. That's all I'm saying. I am not for no. I don't know what people be saying. I am not for no goddamn CJ, and I'm not for anyone because at the end of the day, let me see. Yeah, just a DV. That's true. Nothing but the truth. Just DV. Because when you think about it though, so Cool was arrested and he was charged with what happened at the casino. Because remember, when you steal from the casino, even though he said da 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 da, they apparently dropped that case. But in actuality, he was said to be cheating the way he was dealing the cards. CJ So Cool, when he was working at that casino, he literally got arrested and he got put on. I think he had like I think it was like a misdemeanor or something. He had to literally be on probation, whatever the case may be. So, but what happened was, you got to think about it. During that time frame, he was under investigation, even though he was able to go home. Yeah, true. He got gun charges as well. Yeah, he got gun charges as well. So you would think, let me tell you something. If a police see that you have, or any investigator see that you have priors, it makes it even easier for them to mess with you. It makes it easier. Oh yeah, the Charles Ramsey article. Y'all look at that article. That article that Asia. That's the case I was talking about when it comes down to statute of limitation. When you look at things, you check out that article. That's one of the most craziest stories you will ever witness. Just check out that article. And another aspect, though, what I want to get back on. If you have priors, believe me, it makes the investigators have a field day with you because they love adding on shit. They of charges come against you that they can do in an ephemeral amount of time. If they can do that to you, believe me, that would make that shit push forward even faster. I told y'all before, I would have loved the fact of to tear your ass down, basically. That's basically how she put it. This girl finna take you down. As a victim of molestation, as a victim of these things, I would have loved it if she never said that on her YouTube. I would have loved it if she never, I mean, never said it on her Instagram. My fault. Never said it on her Instagram because it came off like, oh, you want to play? I'm finna threaten you too. That's where it came off as. That's why I'm saying I don't want to discredit Jalea. Oh yeah, I was. Let me tell you something was crazy. That like, and I'm not gonna go into details of my own life, but yes, I was a victim. I was a victim of molestation. I was a victim of molestation. I'm just gonna let y'all know when I was around like 5, 6 years old. It started with a woman that my mother used to have babysit me. So I'm not gonna go into details of that, but I will say that woman was very, very abusive. That woman was very, very nasty. Like she was very manipulative, and believe me, I had bruises and things to prove it of her abuse. So that's what I'm saying. When you look at life, let me tell you something. Me being a victim myself, I know I would have never. Because number one, I don't even want to talk to that lady. Me being a grown ass man who probably can destroy her right now, compared to when I was a 5 year old. I still don't even want to mention her because it brings up trauma to me. Let alone when I go online and say, "Oh, I'm finna take her down." I'll do it in the background. I have the investigators on her ass. I don't want somebody to be knowing whatever the hell I want to do to them or how I want to come and approach them. You never let the enemy know how you coming. Never let the enemy know how you coming. That's why the Bible says, "Never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." Why would you want the enemy to know your plans? Oh, I'm gonna come at you. Guess what I'm gonna do? Lawyer up. That's what I'm gonna do. Lawyer up. So that's basically what I'm saying. I would never want that. Let me know if I'm breaking up though. I would never want I would never want somebody to know my plans. Because guess what they can do? That means that they can prepare for me. They can be like, oh, before said he finna sue me, and he already told me what he gonna sue me for. So you know what I'm about to do? Let me go up and get a lawyer and say, hey, before said he finna sue me for defamation, this, that, and that. Let me just get my shit in order so y'all can't da 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 da. And then hurry, y'all get y'all lawyer, you get your shit. And guess what? By the time I get my lawyer, y'all already lawyered up. Now we back and forth with each other. Now we gotta prove it through our lawyers. Who has evidence? Have lawyer who can run, who can articulate themselves to the judge. The message is better. That comes, yeah. Like I'm back.
Yeah.
You hear me? Good? All right, yeah, I don't know what happened with that. But like I said before, like let me go back, let me see what everybody's saying. All right,
Mm.
good? Okay, good. Now I'm not gonna let the opposing side know how I move because that's giving them the upper hand. And what I would have told Russ to stay off, man, Don't even say nothing. And at the end of the day, in 2018, when they said that they came to the house and questioned Jalea and she denied everything, let me tell you what I would do. If somebody was questioning my child, like an investigator, CPS, right? And it was like, oh, this and this happened, and she denied it. I look at that person funny and say, I don't give. Right when they leave, I'm gonna be like, hold up, man, you gotta talk. Man, you gotta talk real quick. And I'm gonna say, we gonna get down to the bottom of this shit. Why do you believe? I would ask CJ, so cool. If you royalty, you said, hey, do you believe they came over here and questioned Jalea? I want to get your perspective. You play dumb. You're like, why you believe it? What you think that you're doing that's inappropriate with my daughter? You do it in silence. Because you know why? At the end of the day, when CJ on 32s was beefing with CJ So Cool, one of the craziest things started to occur. Everybody came out the woodwork. Bandman Kevo came out. Then these people came out. And what's crazy about it, even Bait came out. He didn't even come out in a long time. Bait came out. What's crazy is that right at that moment, he said, I just got a message from the fam and said, oh, you gonna tell me about what you did to Jalea? I just didn't like the way that it was presented. I believe it should have been presented more like not in somebody else's beef, because what the daughter got going on is separate than what you got going on with CJ on 32s. It's a big difference. So my daughter don't need to be in the midst of that because her situation is sensitive. Her situation is too damn private. It's too traumatic to be bringing up in somebody else's beef. That's how I would have moved about it. That's all I'm saying. I know if there's something going on, let one of my kids say, I'm not gonna bring up something. When that y'all handle that shit, when it's all said and done, I'm moving in the background. You ain't gotta worry about it because everything being done the proper way. Y'all can beef all in front of the internet and do all that nonsense. Oh, can you hear me? Nope. It went out again. You hear me? Nope. Still gone. Hear me? Hear me now? Hear me now? All right, so I'm in stream.